Hello everyone. In this video, I am covering the difference between two object types which are found in Grasshopper. So there are two object types which are found in Grasshopper. The first one is parameter, and second is the component. So the parameters are those objects which store the values, and components are those objects which actually process the values. So there are two types of parameters. The first one is the geometry parameter, and the second one is input parameter. In the geometry parameter, you can see there are two examples. The first one is a point, and the second one is the curve. So these two just used to store a collection of points or the collection of curves or a single curve. And the second one is the input parameter. What it does, there's a difference between the geometry parameter and an input parameter. Input parameter, it provides value to the next component, whichever component it is connected to. Um, so parameters basically just store the value, or provide value to the next one. And the second object type is the component. Components are actually process the data. Here you can see this particular component with the point. It takes three values, x, y, z, and stores them as a coordinate. So if you see it, there are three basic parts. The first one is the name, which is shown by the pt, actually the construct point, and this is the output, and these three are the input. um, if you right click on this, let's go back to the geometry parameter. If you right click on this, you will find few options. The first one, here you can change the name of um, the parameter or the component. This is found in both of them. So right click, change the name if you want, and preview decides that if you want to see the geometry generated by this particular component in Rhino or not. For example, if you can see this particular cross point is presented by this component. If I turn off the preview, it gets hidden, and I can turn it on even. So this, and let's go for more options, and we will enable is if you want to deactivate it, click on enable, it will deactivate. Otherwise, click again for make it enable. Bake, I will cover it later. Runtime warnings shows us if there is any warning. It says the floating parameter point failed to collect data because we have not input any value to this. And wire displays is actually, it presents like what kind of wire do we want, incoming wire types, the continuous or the hidden or the faint ones. We can decide them. And below you can see if there is a list of points we are inputting. So reverse does the reverses the list. I mean, the indexing. And this flatten does flatten and graph. These two are actually, there is a very little difference between these two. Consider there is a list of there are 10 lists, and all those 10 lists contain 5 parameters. So if you are using flatten in that list, what it will do, it will convert us all the data to a single list with a 50 elements. But if you are using a graph, what it will do, it will make a 50 list with single element. So that's the difference between flatten and graphed. And simplify removes the redundant elements from the list. And expression, if you want to um, like something is coming from the input side, you can apply some formula like that, like you can multiply it by a particular number or anything like that. This is what I can do. And let's come here, and if you want to like, you can see the current value is, if you is 000. If you want to change the value, what you can do, go to the set number and just press a particular number, it will shift to the yes, it have moved to the 50 now. Here you can see. And one another thing that I will cover more in detail in next video, but let me show you a glimpse of it. This slider is actually an input parameter which provides values to any component. So if I connect the output gripper of the slider with the input gripper of Z, now there will be two changes. Z will receive the values from the slider, and you can see the name has changed to the Z coordinate automatically. Now if I, you can see here the it is changing. The height is changing according to the Z. You can even, you can connect the same way to the all of them. Now you can see it will move in a straight line. So these are the basic differences between um, components and parameter. So I will be covering more about all the input methods in the next video.